What's happening, family? Dr. Joe here. Happy Sunday evening. Welcome to another episode of Village Chat. I hope each of you are well and blessed wherever you are watching from, whether you're in the United States or somewhere abroad. Welcome to Village Chat, and I salute each of you. So glad to see each of you on this evening. What an amazing Sunday afternoon. How quickly time is flying by. But here we are together again, us villagers coming together once again as we celebrate another episode of Village Chat. Salute to each of you. I know there are many of you all who may be participants in the 40-day turn up, the Journey 3.0 plus process, or you may be a guest, a family member, a friend of one of our villagers. Whether you are a part of the process or whether you are a guest of someone who's in the process, I want to salute each of you and so glad that you took the time to join us on this evening. Now, a little bit about what this is, what the village is, what we do. The village is an online community of two of the world's greatest transformational processes, i.e., the 40-day turn up and the Journey 3.0 plus process. These are three groups that we do per year. We all do them together to where we migrate large groups of people. This has been the largest class thus far, a little less than 3,000 people. These individuals come from all over the country, all over the world. People who are in this transformational process are individuals who are looking for holistic transformation of not only the mind, of not only the body, but the soul as well. Many people assume that this is a weight loss program, but it is not. People think that this is a weight loss program because people who come through it lose weight. But the weight loss is the byproduct of other transformations, mind, body, and spirit. This isn't a weight loss program. This is a transformational process. We're touching the lives of many people all over the country, all over the world, and that's who and what we are. The process is something that is done virtually. So people may be in different parts of the world. People are in small groups. And this is how we have been executing this amazing ministry for the past 10 years. So that's who and what we are. If you want more information, you can visit us at journeylife.tv. Also invite you to follow us on Instagram, and you can do so at Journey Life TV, as well as Facebook at Journey Life TV. If you're not already a subscriber here of our YouTube channel, be certain that you do so you can get all of the future updates and episodes that we have. A lot of information tonight, a lot of things to tell you, but I'm excited about tonight and our village chat. Now that you understand what the village is and who we are, let me talk to you about the village chat. Village chat is in-house programming where we take a real life participant who is actually matriculating through either the 40-day turn up or the Journey 3.0 plus process. Sometimes it's a participant, sometimes it can be a leader. All right. These individuals are from all over the world, all over the country. And what we like to do is we like to spotlight them. We like to share their stories, because the one thing that brings us all together may not be our country, may not be our race, may not be our gender, may not be our socioeconomic status, but what people relate to more than anything else is the human experience by way of our stories. The human story is something that when you hear a story of a person, regardless of who or where they are from, there's something about that story that you can relate to. This is very light. It's not political. It's not racial. It's not anything that's heavy, but a time for God's children to come together and for us to get to know one another who are in this amazing process. So I want to introduce to you my guest, and she goes by the name of Miss Beka Williamson. How you doing, Beka?
Hey, good evening, Dr. Joe. I'm doing well.
Well,
And, and yourself?
you look and sound great. I'm feeling wonderful. How has your Sunday been so far?
It's been great. It's been
It's,
very restful and been working on my 80/20,
okay.
getting that down and fine tune. But yeah, it's been a great day. Just relaxing. Went to church this morning with my family and just kind of relaxed. Did some meal prep. Did not use the grill and meat. I did the grill and veggies.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, first of all, thank you for being my guest.
Oh, no problem. I'm honored.
I'm excited. I can't wait to learn more about you. So let's just kind of start off from square one. And why don't you tell us who you are and where you're from and where you live and something about yourself.
Okay, sure. So my name is Beka. I'm 43. I'm originally from a very small town in eastern Kentucky called Pikeville, and I now live in the metropolis area of Charleston, West Virginia. It's not really metropolis. It's bigger than Pikeville, but it is not. It's still a small town. But yeah, I'm married, and we have two children, Cameron and McKenna, and I teach kindergarten.
Awesome. You are an educator.
Yes, yes.
That is so great. We salute you. There are many educators in the village. That is like awesome. How long have you been an educator?
I'm getting ready to start my 18th year in teaching.
Really? Have you always been at the kindergarten level or different?
No, I started out in kindergarten and then went to a fourth and fifth grade writing position and then spent about 7 years in fourth grade, then went down to first grade, and now I'm back in kindergarten. So I've kind of been all over the place.
And is kindergarten like is that your favorite of all of them?
It is. It is. Yeah. Those little babies, they wear you down, but I love them so much. And you can just get so much done with them.
They're angels. They really
Yeah.
are.
Some days.
So, yeah, some days, right? Devil angels.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how old your children, what ages are
Cameron is 13 and McKenna's 10.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So let's talk about education for a minute.
Sure.
Talk to us about what is a day in the life of Beka? You get up, you go to the school. Like, what's that like?
Yeah, so I get up very early. My school starts early and it ends early, so that's a plus. The teachers report about 6:45. Students are allowed inside the door at 7, and the tardy bell rings at 7:30. Gives them time to eat breakfast. So it's nonstop. It is nonstop. So I am the type of teacher that does not sit down. I sit down whenever I eat lunch. I sit down when I plan. But it's just, I mean, you have to think. I heard somewhere that teachers make more second by second decisions than brain surgeons do. And I totally believe it. So it is mentally exhausting, but at the end of the day, you have accomplished so much, even on your worst days. I feel like you get the opportunity to pour into children and to build relationships with them. And your goal is to educate them. But like for me personally, my goal is to just make sure they know that they have one person in their life that cares for them, loves them, and just wants the very best for them. So as I go through the day, I get those little bits of connection with kids, and that just helps me get through the rough times.
It definitely sounds like a calling. So
I
talk
think
to
it
us,
is, yeah.
talk to us about like what is the most rewarding part of being an educator, and what is the most challenging part?
Oh man, I'm not sure that we have enough time to cover the challenging ones, but
Okay.
I'll give you at least one. But the most rewarding part is, especially with kindergarten, whatever they walk away with, like you facilitated that, like
Mhm.
you brought it to fruition. Like my students come in, a lot of them can't hold their pencil correctly. They can't write their name. Some can. They don't know how to count one to one corresponding. They don't know how to read. They don't know all their letters. And then, like, we just finished up, back in May. And it's just amazing the growth. You don't see it every day. It's not as obvious every day. But then at the end of the year, you're like, oh my goodness, they were like feral animals when they came in. And look, they can sit and eat their breakfast and not spill everything. And they can read and they can count, and they're writing and they're making, creating their own ideas. And so that's the most rewarding. And I would say the most challenging is I love to teach. I love to teach. I don't get to teach as much as I want. So I
Mm,
have always chosen to teach. I've only taught at two schools in my career, and I've chosen to teach at schools that were like underprivileged.
mhm,
I like to be where I'm needed, and so a lot of times we deal with so much and that these students are dealing with just to get them to the point to where we can teach them. And some days I don't teach. Some days I counsel. Some days I am mommy because mommy's not there. Some days I am, you know, a doctor, a nurse. I'm trying to, do I send them to the office? Do I not? Do we call home? Do we not? And I just feel like sometimes they need more than I can give them.
mhm,
Like, I'm a teacher. They need a lot of these kids have a lot of trauma. I live in an area, in West Virginia where drugs were probably, in a 10 to 15-year period where drugs has just really ravaged the area, and so students are losing parents, they're losing family members, they have very unstable homes. And half of my class, I remember looking at them, half of my class lived with someone besides a mom or dad, and half of them lived with a mom or a dad or both. And so we have a lot of grandparents raising kids. And so that presents its own challenges. So some days I'm like, okay, just give me one job. Do you want me to teach them or do you want me to take care of them? Because like it is so hard to do both.
right, right. That is amazing. I mean, I'm so fascinated with this conversation. I have like so many other questions. So let me ask you more because I'm fascinated. And
Go right ahead.
the chat group are retired teachers, active teachers, and are relating to your story. There may be individuals, and thousands of people will see this, but there may be individuals who have children. Actually, we're one going to kindergarten.
Mhm.
Skylar's 4, she'll be 5, and we have maybe parents, moms, dads who are have infants who will be going to kindergarten. And one of the things that I don't think we talk about enough, Becca, is how do we prepare children for kindergarten, because it's such a important thing. Can you maybe go over maybe a couple of things that maybe parents can do that when those children get to kindergarten that they can do these things? What can we as parents do to better prepare our children?
Mhm. That's so funny you asked me this because starting tomorrow morning, I have my very first. I started a little just grassroots, you could say, little tutoring business.
Mhm.
And I just, because of this very fact, like I'm a teacher, but I never had my kids in my room, my own classroom, because I just didn't feel like it was gonna be fair to either of us. Like, I would be extra hard on them, but yeah, I would probably, spend a little too much attention on them as well. So I always wanted them somewhere else. And my kindergarten aide and I were talking about how kids just really they don't. Majority of my kids, my children at Malden, that's the name of my school, Malden Elementary,
Okay.
they don't come prepared. Or like I said, I have all abilities. I have kids that can come in and write their name and know all their letters, know several sounds. They're ready to go on. And then we got kids that have no idea how to sit just for two minutes. That's all, just 2 minutes. They don't have any concept of sharing, of just listening. Again, they're kindergartners. We're not expecting you to, do algebra, but can we at least just stop talking for a second?
Right.
So I put it out there and I got a few, people to, and that's what I'm offering. I'm offering like kindergarten prep. Like, maybe you don't know what to do, or maybe you're like myself and you know what to do, but you just don't have the patience sometimes with your own child. And so I'm going to start with a little boy in the morning, and then I have another little girl on Tuesday. But these are the things we're going to start working on.
Mhm.
We're going to work on like just correct pencil or crayon grip. And it's so simple, Dr. Joe. Like literally, you make a pinchy with your fingers. Uh huh.
Everybody at home, do this.
Yeah. Grab, and like you literally just grab and then flip. And there's your correct pencil grip. And their little muscles are so like they can't hold it, they can't do stuff, but literally it's just a pinch and then flip it. And we're just gonna start drawing some simple lines, straight lines. And because that fine motor is so weak in so many children, And I am not preaching. I am not criticizing one bit, because my children both have phones, tablets, whatever. But that's why our kids aren't playing. You know, our kids have a device. They're not building things. They're not putting things together. So that's weak. We're going to work on that. Again, straight lines is a great way to start. Writing their name. Okay. Not even all their letters, like just the names, the letters in their name. Counting to 20. We're going to practice counting up to 20. We're going to do one-to-one matching. So like a lot of times kids will come in and that you'll put, you know, maybe 12 objects in front of them and say, okay, can you count these for me? And they'll just go one, and they're like not even counting each individual one. They're just kind of skipping around. So that's really important. How to interact with a book. You know, so many kids, we take it for granted. Jeez, like, oh my goodness. So many kids don't realize, like, this is how you hold a book. Okay, this is the right side. You turn, you know, you flip. We go this way. This is the front cover, back cover, stuff like that. And then just like listening to a very short passage, like fictional story or a nonfiction text, and just being able to answer some simple questions afterwards. And then I'm going to introduce letters. Like I'm going to expose my kids, because our school starts at the end of, like August 22nd. So I'm going to work with students for a month and a half or so. And I'm not going to expect them to know every single letter and the sound that goes with the letter, but I'm going to at least expose them, okay, to all of the letters, talk about A, E, I, O, and U are vowels. They may not know exactly what that means when they go to kindergarten, and that's fine. You know, the rest are consonants. That's where I'm going to start. Like those are things I'm going to start. Like if you just want to sit and play a game with your child, you know, and set a timer for 3 minutes, okay, and then see how they do. And I feel like a lot of it is you just have to build up their ability to sit and listen for a little bit. If you have a really good teacher, really good teachers know that kids can't just sit and get. You know, you have to give them breaks. I love brain breaks. I love exercise brain breaks in my classroom. And so that's what I'm going to be doing even with my kids that I'm tutoring. We're going to work for a little bit, then we're going to stand up and move, do some little would you rather this or that, and then they have to do an exercise that matches their choice. Just anything to get them moving, you know, a lot of Play-Doh, working with that, building, making our letters out of that. Any types of things like that parents can do. Reading to them is huge. I know people have heard that before. Reading is huge. Read to your kids. So that's just what I'm going to focus on with my little group that I'm going to tutor, and hopefully some things parents can do as well.
That is all. I mean, you gave so much great information. Thank you. And I have like 100,000 more questions, but I won't ask that many more. But
no problem.
Let me ask you a follow-up question. So you have a tutoring business where you are preparing children for kinder. Actually, you're doing what I asked, correct?
Right.
Now, is this done virtually? Do you do it in person? How do you
do this? I'm going to start it in person. Like literally, when I say I just started, I'm just starting tomorrow with my first little student.
Okay, great. Well, I'll tell you.
I am going to be in person. Yes.
When you get things set, you let me know.
Absolutely.
We'll be sure to share it with people if they want to get in contact with you, because that is a great it's a great offering that many parents really need. Let me shift, still staying in what you do, but I want to ask you something that may be a bit heavy and emotional for all of us, but I think that it's a good question, and that is Uvalde, Texas, and what happened to those precious angels. And it was just a horrific type of experience. And I'm not trying to bring negativity into the conversation, but you are a teacher. You are one of the first individuals who are protecting our kids, and you see things as a teacher that many people on the outside do not see. What are some things that you think from your vantage point that we can do to protect our schools, our children, and our teachers?
I'm not going to say that it is heavy. It's heavy, but I feel like it's very, very much needs to be discussed. And I feel like these are great settings to have these conversations with Dr. Joe, because you have created a village. You've created this environment where I do feel like people these are the kind of conversations you need to have. You cannot change someone's mind or opinion on Facebook or Twitter or wherever. If you're not going to sit down at the table with them, like, you don't need to have these heavy conversations, but I feel like we can have that here. So it's hard for me to say this is what's going to work or this is what needs to be done. But first of all, I appreciate you asking me, because I am a teacher. I am in there. I know how the school runs. I know how our day is set up. I know what is like, oh, that is way too idyllic. That's not really going to be how it's going to work if we implement that. So I appreciate you asking my opinion. I think it's going to have to be almost school by school. Elementary schools, middle schools, high schools are all set up differently. I teach in a very small school. It is so small. There is no reason we can't have one entrance. We don't need any other entrance open ever during our day. We need one entrance. Okay. I don't feel that our children will feel like they're in a prison or a jail if we did a metal detector. They probably, first of all, my little ones wouldn't even understand what was going on or what it was, or anything like that. But I feel like there needs to be something.
Yes.
Our secretary is amazing. I know for sure she is not letting anybody in the door. She's not opening that lock. That door stays locked. Our front door stays locked. She's not letting anybody in unless she knows them or they show ID, and that she goes and checks that student, whoever they're there for, that student's approved contacts, approved pickup people. And I understand someone could still be on there and come in with something. But then again, if you have a metal detector, at least there's a warning. Our school is an old school. And so like we have walk-through classrooms. So like to get to one classroom, you have to, like the very end classroom on one hallway, you have to walk through two others. Like keeping those doors locked all the time is rough. Only because there's so much traffic. Students get pulled for resource room or for Title I services or lunch or their not extracurriculars, their specials like library and PE and gym. There's a lot of traffic in those rooms and having to unlock and lock that door. But I feel like also the first door in could be locked. Things like that. I think we practice, of course. I'm sure you are aware that we practice active shooter drills, and we go through different scenarios. We usually do 4 a year. One of them is where we have to basically just lock down in our room, just stay in our room. Like maybe there's a threat outside that we're unsure of. Then we do another one where we have to actually like barricade. Like we have to barricade in our room. And then we do one where we actually have to leave the building. So even though our school is small, when the fake announcement comes on and says where the person is, and we all have doors to the outside as well. If we feel like we can make it and go outside to our meeting spot, then we have that option. So my school district has really given teachers, it's a lot of responsibility, but it's also like, this is not a definitive plan. You have options based on the scenario. What is best for your students in your classroom where you are? And so we can stay, we can leave, that type of thing. We keep it light. In kindergarten, I'm sure you can imagine like herding 25 kids, or trying to, keep everybody calm, even during the drills. But I'm very upfront with our students in explaining this is what we're doing. And just in case someone comes in our building who's not supposed to be there and maybe they want to hurt somebody, then we want to be able to protect ourselves and make good decisions. So I'm very upfront, but then I keep it light, and I tell them, hey, listen, are you guys scared of fire drills? We do fire drills all the time, because you know what to do. And so I do like that we practice. And, I can only pray over my babies and just, pray that stuff like this doesn't affect them, like, mentally and stuff. Right. I hate that it's their normal, but I feel like they're going to grow up just being like, oh, it's just an active shooter drill, and that breaks my heart. Yeah. Even say that, like that just breaks my heart. But unfortunately, in this world that we live in, it's where we're at. And, but, I definitely feel like there's a lot. And I'm like you, I'm not trying to be political or things like that, but I do feel like there's a lot of other things that can be done. And
Yes.
I live in West Virginia. Like we are we are Second Amendment. We hold that very dear to our hearts. So it's hard to speak against that.
It is.
But the facts are in front of you, and it's happening over and over again. There has to be something else done on the legal end of it. There has to be something. There has to be a meeting of minds to where we can find some middle ground, some common sense things.
Yeah.
And I do feel like if they do a huge, universal school-wide plan that they ask teachers, they have teachers in on it, putting input, because we're going to be able to tell you yeah, that's really not feasible. Like our elementary is so small that, like I said, what's going to work for us isn't going to work for a large high school of 2,000-3,000 kids. We have maybe 200 kids, maybe with pre-K. So it's a little easier for us, I feel like, to provide the protection they need.
Wow. I'm, since this has happened, you're the first teacher that I've asked, because my question is, my whole thing is we need to be talking to the teachers. We need to be asking people who are there what they think, and like you're saying, it's a systemic issue. So the solution is going to be systemic. It's going to be county, school based. It's going to be about parents. It's going to have everything with gun laws, everything. So thank you so much for addressing it. Salute,
no problem.
And salute to all of you teachers who are doing a great job caring for our babies. People like you, Beka, are what makes our community so special, because people who care for the children. I mean, it's just such a blessing. So thank you for all that you do. You're awesome.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, so let's switch gears. You're in the 4-day turn up.
I am. Yes.
Talk to us about how you discovered it and what made you want to be a part.
Okay, so I saw a friend, and so it's funny. My best friend in college, and many years after, her husband Theo is who posted on Facebook, and I saw his post, and it just kind of caught my attention because it was like around May. I don't remember exactly. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, I have a month to meet my goals for our beach vacation. We were taking a beach vacation with the four of us, and we haven't done that in like 8 years. We've not done any vacations or anything. And I was like, okay, this could be like that last little push I need to get me ready for the beach and everything, right? Dr. Joe, I was ready to start. Like I was ready to go. Let's do this, right? I had no idea. What I was in for. So, but I saw his post and I reached out, and he gave me all of like the details and how to sign up and everything. And I just kind of whenever I started doing the modules and stuff, I was like, okay, all right. I see. I like it. And then, yeah. So yeah, to be honest, I was like just in it for, I want to get ready for the beach. But then as I started getting into the pre-work and just experiencing like your videos, even Lynette's Instagram, I love Lynette on Instagram. I just started to see like, oh, this is totally beyond just losing some pounds for the beach. Like this is what I feel like I need as a person to make some serious changes. So my goal in this, and I have never felt like I was out of place in this group or I didn't belong, other than I don't have a whole lot of weight to lose.
Okay.
And but I saw that this program was going to take a lot of discipline. It has a lot of accountability to it. And I felt like if I could get the discipline from this, then I could apply it into other areas of my life, because I am trying my best to kind of rebuild. I'm coming out of survival mode. I lost both of my parents this past year. And so my brother, sister, and I were caretakers of them 24/7, except they all live in Pikeville, 2 hours away, and I'm here in Charleston. And so the weekend was my shift. That was my shift with them. We took care of him. My dad had Alzheimer's. My mom had a heart attack on February the 14th, 2020. And that's when we realized how bad my dad's Alzheimer's was and that he could not be left alone at all. So we've had care, one caregiver and then the three of us, and no one, they've not been alone for but my dad passed December 18th and my mom passed May 20th. And so I have been in survival mode, meaning whatever's the easiest, whatever is the most convenient in all aspects of my life. And that's not healthy for a long time. That is not healthy for a long time. So I entered this program wanting discipline and wanting to show myself that, you can. I'm just so used to comfortable, Dr. Joe. Like, I'm so used to comfortable. My dad was a pastor, and we did not have a lot growing up. He always pastored little small country churches, but we had everything I ever needed. I had the most idyllic childhood ever. And I think that just, created a way of living that I wanted, my family to have this love and this laughter and this just perfect little family. And whenever I went through this with my parents, there was nothing comfortable about taking care of your parents. Like, it's unnatural to do the things for my parents that they once did for me.
Yes.
And so I've come out of the survival mode, and I'm just ready to kind of like rebuild who I am.
Right.
And I've just been kind of searching, like, how you get a popcorn kernel or something, like piece of meat stuck in your teeth, and like it is just like, it doesn't hurt. It's just there. And like, that's where I'm at. Like, something needs to change because I live a very good life. My husband and I, we are not wealthy people. We are just like kind of lower middle class, hardworking people that live a really good life.
Cool.
But I just feel like that irritation that like there's more, and maybe I should be doing more. And am I really doing everything that I was meant to be? That type of mentality. And so I thought that this program could help me work through that and find it, or at least get me in the right direction as I come out of this. Like, I have my life back. Like, I'm able to spend time with my husband again. I'm able to spend time with my kids. It's not leave Friday after work, spend the weekend with mom and dad, deal with all that they require, and then come back Sunday night and do it all over again. And so, like, when you don't have that extra time with your family, it is so, like, I just cherish it so much more now. Like, I want to be a better mom. I want to be a better wife. I want to be a better teacher. And am I in the right capacity to use everything that God gave me just to accomplish his purpose in my life? So that's kind of like where I'm at. And I needed this because I love to just be comfortable. I have a weighted blanket. I love just mindlessly watching something on TV. I love hot baths, but I love comfort too much. And so, what's not comfortable? Detox. That's not comfortable. That's not comfortable. Not eating everything I want is not comfortable, but I want to get used to that.
Wow.
So that I can have this discipline go into my other areas in my life.
Listen, you have probably put perspective on this process better than anyone I can think of, because that's exactly what people should want. And you've hit on it. What you said is, I want to gain discipline out of this so I can apply it to other parts of my life. That is bingo. I'm so happy and thankful that you have the ability to see that. And I hope you guys who are watching this live as well as archive can draw from that, because that's the key. You want to take what you learn and apply it to other areas. You want to be a more disciplined teacher, a more disciplined wife, a more disciplined mother, a more disciplined business owner.
Yes.
You want that skill set to permeate in all areas. So I'm so thankful that you've been able to receive that. So salute to you. So talk to me about your group. You want to shout them out? Who's your group?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Our group is called Manifested Miracles.
Oh,
Our group leader is Stephanie Matthews.
Shout out to Stephanie.
And I had my little notes. It's okay.
It's okay. Take your time.
We're just gonna wing it. No, but I thought it was just unique that they came up with, someone came up with this name. We kind of like threw some ideas out there and then voted on it, but that spoke kind of to most of us. And when you say manifested miracles, that's who you are. Like, you're already a miracle, but yet it also implies that you're expecting and waiting for more. So I know that there's been miracles in my life. I know that there's been miracles in my team's life, but we're also expecting additional miracles through this process. So I loved that name. Stephanie does a great job. She's an encourager. She is a corrector. She is a challenger. She'll challenge us to do, this or that. And, she, as a teacher, I love this because I use it all the time. Mm-hmm. And, we just ask questions nonstop. And every now and then it'll be like, I think so, but I'm not sure, but I'm going to find out. And I love that. She's our leader. She's going to know a lot, but she also has leaders above her that she's going to utilize and go to and just make sure that we have the correct information. So I love her diligence in that. And so, my buddy is Diane. Diane, I'm pretty sure is from Virginia. So we're like state buddies. I think everybody's pretty much on the other side of Virginia, not close to where I'm at, but that's okay. Right. And, we're just taking it day by day, meal by meal.
Right. Step by step.
Yes. And we're just getting it done. So we all lost this week and we were just excited.
That's awesome. I know many people. Shout out to your group, Eminem. What a great. Stephanie. Shout out to Stephanie and everyone in your group. There may be someone watching this who needs maybe some inspirational words from someone who is transforming, who's trying to change, and maybe they're afraid to change. They may not be in the 40-day turn-up, but maybe they're in another season of transformation in their life. If a person maybe has their back up against the wall and you would give them words of encouragement, what would you tell
them? I would tell them this because I needed to hear this.
Okay.
You have a purpose. I mean, even if people don't believe in a higher being, I'm someone who believes in God. But even if you don't, I think everyone can accept the fact that, like, we're all connected. Like, you're here for a reason. You're here to interact and touch different people's lives. But you can't do that if you yourself aren't in the position emotionally, spiritually, mentally to give. My parents left us a long legacy of love and serving others. That's all we did growing up. We loved on our church family. We loved on our communities. We served them whatever needs that they had. But in your PreWork, How to Win the War Before the Battle Begins, you mentioned that you create an agreement with yourself. And like, when you spoke this, I was just like, I'm winning for me. And I won't let myself down. I am a people pleaser. I am a servant. I love to give. Okay. That's just me. I'm so happy when I'm in that capacity, but I rarely do for me. You know what I mean? Like, I rarely, okay, that's all right. I don't need that. Let's just do this, and when you spoke that, I was like, you are totally worth it. You are totally worth it. And you know what, Becky, you are so prideful in that you don't ever want to let anyone else down. But look at you. You are letting yourself down. Through that 2.5 years of taking care of mom and dad, I didn't care what I ate. It just whatever made me feel good. And of course the quarantine 15 that, I feel like a lot of people put on. And even though I may not have as much, weight to lose as someone else. Like, I don't care what size you are, when your pants don't fit, you are not comfortable. Like, you do not feel good about yourself. So I would just tell them, like, you are worth it. You are worth it because you have a purpose. And this world needs you, and we need you at your best. And that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to my best. I want to always work on that, and that be my goal.
Those are awesome words. And I appreciate you for your time, for your wisdom. You have a very, I think, Becca, you're one of those individuals. You're going to look back on your life 10 years from now, and where you go, you're not even going to recognize it. Like, I see God doing some wonderful things.
Yeah.
Like, and God has put so much on the inside of you. You have a beautiful spirit, and it's just great. So continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
It has been, I've been just honored to find out more about you. I
Yeah.
wish God's richest blessings upon you, your husband, and your children, and your school, and everything that you do. And when you get things situated with
Mhm.
your business, you let me know. We're gonna
I
share.
will.
We're gonna share with the village, and maybe I can do something to where we can give some scholarships to pay some of the parents who are in the group for your services, and it can be a gift from us to the parents to
Absolutely.
your business. I think it'll be a win-win for everyone.
That sounds great. Thank
Okay.
you so much. It was an
Thank
honor
you.
to be with you and to talk to everybody.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I hope you have an amazing, amazing, amazing Sunday.
All right. And you as well. Thank you, Dr. Joe.
Thank you, Becca. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
All right, gang. Miss Beka Williamson, what a great interview that was. I mean, literally, I could be here asking questions. Let's give Becca, 609 of you are watching live, a big salute and shout out to you, Becca, and the Williamsons. What a great interview. And I really want to salute all of you educators. You guys, um, you deserve more than what you get. You deserve more than what you get. You deserve more than what you get based upon the importance of your position. So, to all of you educators at all levels, whether you're in elementary school, if you're in high school, if you're in the college level, if you're in whatever place in society that you're in, salute to our educators. You all are true jewels of our environment and of our community. And I thank God for each of you. Once again, shout out to Beka Williamson. All right, great. Gang, it's 6:42. I got a couple things I want to tell you before we depart. We're entering in week 2. All right. And I'm going to give you an update in the morning. I'll let you know what time that'll be. At some point on tomorrow, we're going to review your meals that you've been doing since 80/20. We'll do a live food review just like I did on last week to be certain that you're on the right road. I've been looking at your pictures, I've been monitoring your pictures, and overall, the photos are looking really, really good. I think you all are headed in the right direction. I'll talk more about that when we discuss things on tomorrow. All right. Be certain that you get your exercise regimen in. You cannot glaze over the exercise. You cannot leave it on the counter. It has to be a part of the meal, meaning that you've got to do it along with your water, along with eating like you're supposed to eat, along with avoiding things you're not supposed to eat, and being consistent in it day in and day out. Let's keep that in mind. But I want to leave something with you. At the end of our village chats, I always try to bring some nugget, something to give you, something to push the conversation forward in a way that is of value. Let me see if I can bring something up. Uh, on today, when I woke up this morning, I saw this particular article. And actually, it wasn't an article, it actually was on Facebook. And you guys know, whenever you see things on social media, I think a wise person's knee jerk reaction whenever you see information, wrecks, deaths, hospitalizations, is to not believe it. At least I don't. because there have been a lot of things told on social media that are not true. So when I first saw this is a pastor, Pastor John Gray, whom I know, whom many of you know, who has a very, very robust global ministry, said that he was hospitalized with a life-threatening blood clot. His wife was on their social media site, and many of these articles quoted her in saying that he is in need of a miracle. Before I move forward, the first thing that I want you to understand is my prayers are for Pastor Gray. Our prayers are for Pastor Gray. I pray that God heals him, that God brings him back, that God replaces and resets him with his wife, with his children, with his family, and that God brings him back to his church, that he can continue to carry out the destiny that God has for his life. That is my first prayer. The second thing that I want you to understand is in this presentation, briefly, that I want to say, I'm not going to spend long on it. I'm not using this as an opportunity to springboard some type of doctrine or ideation. I'm not trying this, but I am using this as an opportunity to challenge you, to make you better. Pastor John Gray, it says that he was threatened, that he was hospitalized with a life-threatening blood clot. It says that doctors determined that the relentless church pastor was suffering from a saddle pulmonary embolism in the pulmonary artery. So basically, it's a blood clot of the lung. To place this in perspective, the doctor said that people have come into the hospital dead with this exact scenario he walked in with. The doctor said God has to keep him through the night, and he cannot move, not even get up and walk to the bathroom. Medical News Today describes saddle pulmonary embolisms as being acute and sudden in most cases. It occurs when a blood clot becomes lodged in the juncture where both the right and the left lungs meet. If left untreated, the blood clot can cause unstable blood pressure, interfere with blood supply to the rest of the body, and damage organs. According to a venter, John will require 2 types of surgery due to the pressure now on the heart within the next 24 hours. She went to state that only God was responsible for keeping the clot from moving into an even more lethal position. She declared, I don't care what CT, echo, all, or any test show, it's clear God isn't finished. We thank God that he's okay, that he's still with us. And we pray that he is able to be successful in his surgery and that God heals him totally. And I believe in my heart of hearts that that is the hope of each of you. But the deeper lesson to this that I want to bring to your attention: pulmonary embolism, a blood clot of the lungs. It can happen to a lot of people. But in doing research, one of the most common causations of pulmonary embolisms, due to the research that I was able to find and collect, is obesity. Poor eating habits and lack of exercise. That does not mean that a person who eats properly, who works out continually and consistently, will be absent of this lethal disease, potentially lethal disease. It does not mean that a person who's fit is 100% protected. But what it means is the likelihood of this type of illness is increased with obesity. And it's not the fact of what you weigh, but it's the lifestyle that comes along with being obese. Everyone who has seen Pastor John Gray can tell that he's had issues or been a large man. This should be a wake-up call to each of you. This should be a wake-up call to all of us. That you live your life in a way that if it's time for me to check out, it is not going to be caused by my potential habits. I do not know what caused Pastor Gray's condition. I do not know the reason. I'm not a medical doctor, and I'm not here to provide expert opinions upon that. But I do know that this particular condition does have its linkage with obesity lifestyle. So what you all have to understand is one thing. Your life does not belong to you. You are a steward of something that God has made and created. God has put each and every one of you on this earth for a certain purpose and for a certain season. There's no coincidence that you are existing in 2022. There's something the world needs that's in you. There's no coincidence that I was born September 12th, 1977. There's no coincidence that I'm in Atlanta, that I met Lynette when I met her, that we had children, that I'm the pastor of the church that I'm over, that I'm in this lane. There is no accident. My life doesn't belong to me. But I'm here on assignment. You see, you have an assignment. And see, the problem is we allow society to dictate the importance of our assignments through money. We pay athletes, no shade, no hate, hundreds of millions of dollars to put a ball in a basket. We pay musicians millions of dollars to speak poison that degenerates the minds of our youth, that glorifies violence and crime. We put all of this money in areas that are of little importance to the progression and evolution of humankind. Yet, teachers are underpaid. Yet, caretakers are underpaid. Yet, those who risk their lives as police officers, firemen are underpaid. Yet, folks who are helping to progress people are underpaid. And see, what happens is you start to feel, because of what you're paid, that your assignment is not of value. But what you have to understand is each of you have an assignment. Each of you have a divine destiny. Each of you have something that is just as important than what I'm doing. You may not have thousands of followers. You may not have thousands of people watching you. You may not have something that you feel is of note. But like at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you've got an assignment. And what you have to start doing, whether you're in this process or whether you're watching this later, or whether you're a friend of someone who's here, or whether you just so happen saw it, you've got to start taking your assignment seriously by understanding the value of your physical health and how it's linked to your spiritual assignment. We can't be in poor health while on assignment. We can't be doing things in our daily lifestyle that's curtailing my assignment. We can't be so frivolous and nonchalant and apathetic about our body and what we put in it, and about allowing our laziness not to cause us to walk and to run and to exercise and to work our hearts. We've allowed the comfort of these times to rob us of the assignment God has sent to us. So I just wanted to use this story to pray for Pastor Gray. It's my sincere prayer that God heals him. But to let you understand that that could be you. That could be me. So as we are progressing through this process together, your outlook on your life should be different. It's not my body to pollute. This is not my body to not take care of it. It's not for me to sit up here and not care. But I got to realize that God has given me a tenure. God has given me a season. I got a little while to do what I'm supposed to do. So let me look upon my life as not the landlord of it, but the caretaker of it. See, the landlord is the owner. No, I don't own this, because I can't own something that I didn't make, that I didn't create, that I didn't purchase. I'm a tenant. I'm paying rent. I'm a spirit that's having a humanistic experience. And until we learn how to care for our body, our mind, and our spirit, we cannot fully execute the assignment that God has us on. Sometimes your assignment is not about your occupation. Assignment isn't always about doing something, but being something, becoming something. Sometimes assignment is about, in my growth, how I'm affecting others. See, we human beings like to attach things to accomplishments. Oh, your purpose is being this or doing that. It's not always that cut and dry. But the key is you got to start looking upon yourself differently. It's your responsibility to care for yourself. It's your responsibility to not place foods that are inflammatory and you know it in your body. It's not something that you should sit around and eat boatloads of food that you know is causing unstable blood sugar because it's pleasurable. But no, God sent me here to do something. What keeps me in the race? You know what keeps me in this race is not because I want to. And that's nothing against each of you. You are beautiful people. People like Beka. People like Rashonda. People like all of you. Y'all are beautiful people, but the load of it is heavy. Sometimes I just want to just chill. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to teach a class. I don't want to do a live video. But what keeps me in it is because I know I'm on assignment. And I know that sometimes on your assignment, you're not going to feel like doing it. You understand that? as perfect as Jesus Christ was and is, he didn't want to go to the cross. Get out of your mind. Quit romanticizing assignment like it's this fairy tale that fits perfectly in an Instagram story, that you become this successful entrepreneur that has all of the access to this and everything you do work. It don't work like that. It's not glamorous. Assignment isn't sexy. It's not lucrative. You see, it may not be something that gets you on the front page of the local news station. Assignment may not get a lot of follows and likes, but assignment is for me to fulfill what I'm here to do. And it's the only lane that I can stay in where true joy will come, when true happiness will come, with authentic success will come. When I embody my assignment and quit chasing what I'm good at or what I got the opportunity to do or what makes sense or low-hanging fruit. Sometimes my assignment is not low-hanging. Sometimes it's high-hanging. Sometimes I got to stretch. Sometimes I got to climb. Sometimes I got to lose sleep. And I can't do that if I'm polluting my body, if I'm not caring for my mind, if I'm not dividing my soul. I can't do it. So as I leave you on tonight, remember, your health is not yours to throw away. Your health is not yours to not care for. We are tenants of this tabernacle, here for a certain amount of time, here for a little while, here on assignment to be, to do, and to become something that was determined before we took our first breath. So as you moan and groan about what you can't eat, what you can't do, change your thinking. This process is helping to prolong the time for you to be and do what God has sent you here for. So to each of you, may the blessings, protection of our Lord and Savior fall fresh upon each of you. May the wind gently blow upon your back. May the sun shine upon your face. May the all-wise God, our Father, now to him that is able to do exceeding abundantly, now to him that is able to present us faultless, may the all-wise God, our Father, be in majesty, dominion, and power, now, henceforth, and forevermore. Lord, we thank you for giving us tickets to the world's greatest drama called life. And each day I patiently await to see how the next scene will unfold. Be well, be blessed. God willing, I'll see you on tomorrow. Peace.